By the way, by the time you get to be 18, every human being in the United States of America will have broken some law. Congress and the left-wingers have made us a nation of criminals. We have the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee to talk about what could be done about it. And Wendy is with us today. And Wendy, I like to throw some statistics. How would you like to go to a party in honor of Jeb Bush? And guess what the ticket cost for one person is?
One person. Well, I guess it's going to be a fancy dinner. Let's see. I would say I'm just going to go out there. 25,000.
Times 4.
No way.
Yeah. Henry Kravitz, $100,000 for a little party up in New York for Jeb Bush's PAC. He's hoping to, before he's finished, he'll have between $50 and $100 million, and it looks like he's a serious candidate. But on the other side, in America, after 39 months, we have 46 million people taking food stamps every month, which is a poverty program. And after 39 months, 46 million people. Okay, well, that's some of the headlines of what's going on. But, across the way, the brutal butchers of ISIS might be coming right here to America. Thousands of fighters from around the world are joining the Islamic killers in Iraq and Syria, and some could very well be traveling to the United States of America. 20,000 foreign fighters joining in that group, and they could launch terrorist attacks right here at home.
That report comes after the confirmation that ISIS has killed its 4th American hostage. Her name is Kayla Mueller. Caitlin Burke has the story.
She was the last known U.S. hostage being held by ISIS. Today, the family and friends of Kayla Mueller remember the compassionate, brave, and spunky girl she was as they try and accept her death.
Kayla has touched the heart of the world. The world grieves with us.
The 26-year-old was captured by ISIS militants when she was working to help war refugees in Syria. In a newly released letter to her parents, she said she was being treated with kindness and respect. She also said, quote, "By God plus your prayers, I've felt tenderly cradled in free fall. I've been shown in darkness light, plus have learned that even in prison, one can be free." ISIS claims Mueller was killed during recent Jordanian airstrikes. They sent her family photographic evidence over the weekend that she was dead. U.S. officials say it hasn't been possible to determine when or how she actually died. Some officials say they do have reason to believe that she may have been given over to an ISIS commander, possibly by forced marriage. President Obama says the U.S. did everything possible to save her except pay a ransom. He confirmed for the first time on Tuesday that he made a risky rescue attempt to save Mueller and other ISIS hostages. U.S. forces were unable to find them.
It's as tough as anything that I do, having conversation with parents who understandably want, by any means necessary, for their children to be safe.
Meanwhile, ISIS is clearly growing stronger. A new report suggests 20,000 foreign fighters from around the world are going to Syria to join the terrorist group. Here in the U.S., the government continues to debate the use of military force.
My concern is that the president truly does not understand the nature of this danger. He doesn't understand that this is a guerrilla war to try to defeat us by 1,000 cuts, that they're going to undermine us piece by piece, little by little, until finally we can't do anything anymore.
Experts warn it's only a matter of time before ISIS poses a direct threat to the U.S. itself. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
They've talked about containing ISIS. There's only one thing to be done to ISIS, and that's to destroy them. We have to go in and destroy them. We cannot allow them to have a heritage site in Syria and only take them out in Iraq. We've got to exterminate everything they're doing. And it looks like there are a few people, if we would put together a serious effort, we would have a coalition of the willing. Yes.
Why does Jordan seem to understand that, Pat? And they're Muslim, and we don't.
Well, the sight of that pilot being burned to death was enough to shock the Jordanian people, and the king immediately came into action. There's something about Obama. I think, you know, his stepfather was a Muslim, and he was schooled in Indonesia for a while. There's something, he's very sympathetic to Muslims, and the last thing he wants to do is to offend Muslims. He has members of the Muslim Brotherhood coming to the White House for conferences and so forth, and there's a tendency in him just to think Muslims are more important, in a sense, than the United States. I don't understand it, but we elected him, and he's in there for a little while longer. You just pray somehow or other that he'll have a wake-up call, but until he does, we're at very serious risk. Well, there's another major conflict in the world today. That's in Ukraine. I was reading, by the way, that Solzhenitsyn, the great, you know, dissident and writer in the Gulag Archipelago, you remember that? He has advised Putin, and he says, you know, he's in favor of a greater Russian, and the greater Russia would include Ukraine, which they say that's part of their territory, and also Kazakhstan. And I've been to Kazakhstan. We had a ministry there, and Nazarbayev, the president, I met with him when we had the flying hospital over there. He's done a good job of building that country up, but Solzhenitsyn was saying to Putin, you need to take all of it, so keep your eyes open if they make an initiative toward Kazakhstan, which is a huge territory, and the Ukraine, that this would be something that was spoken to Putin by this incredible dissident, isn't it? That's a very interesting thing. Well, and anyhow, the U.S. and Europe are trying to work out a peace deal with Putin to stop the fighting. And I doubt if that's going to be successful. Ephraim Graham has that story from the CBN newsroom. Here's Ephraim.
Pat, the leaders of Germany, France, Russia, and Ukraine are meeting in Belarus for those peace talks today. But the fighting in Ukraine got even worse ahead of them. President Obama told Vladimir Putin Tuesday the U.S. supports Ukraine. The president is considering sending military aid to Ukraine. And the top Republican and top Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee are calling for $1 billion in lethal aid to Ukraine. The debate is growing over whether NBC Nightly News anchor Brian Williams will be able to keep his position after his 6-month suspension without pay is over. NBC announced the suspension Tuesday night, following the controversy of Williams' misleading the public about his experiences in the Iraq War. Some analysts believe Williams' long record of success in keeping NBC on top of the evening news rating race is a factor in his favor. On the other hand, they point out that news anchors and reporters are expected to be trustworthy. It may be several months before anyone knows what Williams' fate will be. People in New England aren't getting a break from the snow. Just as some are barely done digging out from the latest storm, they're now bracing for more. Forecasters say southern New England could see 2 to 4 inches of snow this Thursday night going into Friday. And a much larger storm could dump even more snow Sunday night, bringing with it bitterly cold temperatures over the weekend. Massachusetts officials plan to seek federal disaster relief funds as some communities have already exhausted their snow removal budgets. Students at Regent University are currently in 3rd place in the national It's Up to Us competition. The contest educates people and raises awareness about America's growing $18 trillion national debt. Regent graduate student Juliana Melton told CBN News how she would like to see the government officials react to the campaign.
We really want them to take notice because we're competing with 47 other schools and we're all saying enough is enough. You guys, both sides need to come together. This isn't political, but this is national debt and it's not fair for future generations to be left with this and to have to pay it off. It's so that they need to balance the budget and come up with solutions that'll help our generation.
Now, if you would like to help Regent University, simply log on to cbnnews.com to learn how you can take the pledge. Pat, good news for Regent always.
Yeah, good news. Another piece of good news, by the way, it was voted by, I'm not sure who it was, but there was an analysis of the most beautiful campuses in the South.
You're kidding. Where do we rank?
30.
Okay.
Along with Duke, North Carolina,
Nice.
University of Virginia. Martian and Lee, and some of these.
Well, it really is. I mean, we have these beautiful trees, and it's so green, and we have our gorgeous chapel, and I love just walking out there.
It's a beautiful place, but number 30, and which they say these are the most beautiful schools in the whole country, so it's a nice place to be.
We keep making national headlines.
Amen.
A longtime advisor says President Obama deceived Americans for years by claiming he opposed same-sex marriage. Former Obama strategist David Axelrod says in his new book, Believer, that Obama actually supported gay marriage all along. He says the president pretended to oppose it because of fears black Christian leaders would oppose him if his true beliefs became public. But the president tells BuzzFeed.com that Axelrod has it wrong. He says, "I think David is mixing up my personal feelings with my position on the issue." The radical Islamic group Boko Haram has abducted about 30 more people, including 8 girls from Cameroon. The Boko Haram members took the girls and killed 7 hostages in 2 bus hijackings in Cameroon and Nigeria. Boko Haram's attacks left 10,000 people dead last year alone. Remember, you can always get the latest from CBN News by going to our website at cbnnews.com.